Welcome to Consulting Mastery, where we help B2B consultants master the business of consulting. I'm Carrie.
And I'm Ahmed. Join us as we explore the art of delivering outstanding client value, earning a higher income, and thriving in today's marketplace.
So why do we people insist on spending so much of our time, effort, energy on things that just don't matter? That's my question for today.
Time or money, or both?
All of them.
Where's this coming from, Carrie?
It's always coming from somewhere. We had a fascinating call with a bunch of clients this week, and the theme that I ended up talking to the coach about afterwards was a hesitancy or stubbornness in some cases to spend the little bit of money or the little bit of time to save a ton of money and a ton of time sort of on the back end. And this was in specifically, although the specifics aren't really important for our conversation, but the specifics were around automating something, right? Spending a little bit of money. In this case, it was like less than $100 a month, and a little bit of time, less than half an hour, to set up a system that would save some of the folks that we were talking about literal hours per day and get them a better result. But let's make that secondary at this point. What was so fascinating was the mindset that spending, again, literally less than $100 was not the decision to make. The decision to make instead was to use their time ongoing to solve this problem in an exceptionally inefficient way.
I think it's ultimately scarcity. Ultimately, like in both cases, time and money, it's a scarcity problem. And we could talk about those two independently, and there's some nuance to each, and they're definitely related. If I am going to hesitate to spend $100 or any amount of money, frankly, especially when it comes to spending it on the business, that stems from a lack of belief that I'm going to get money back, that I'm going to make more money, that I'm going to get, future inflows of cash. Because if I had more certainty in that, I would certainly be more willing to invest in ways that are going to improve the business. I'm not suggesting you spend money willy-nilly just because, money's coming in, but I would certainly be more willing to do what's right for the business if I had more certainty that there was money coming in. So to me, that's a scarcity problem. I think it's equally applicable to time. When I fear that I don't have time, that's what often I think prevents people from doing things up front. Like, let's use the metaphor of sharpening the axe. Okay. If you have, Carrie, if I say you've got, 5 minutes to chop down a tree, here's the axe. And it's a big tree. And if you're severely constrained on time, you might be like, well, this thing is dull, but I ain't got time to sharpen it. And you start hammering away because you got 5 minutes. But if I say, Carrie, take the day. Here's the axe. Take the day. Cut that tree down. Okay, well, you have the time now to find some stones and sharpen the axe and get the blade nice and sharp so you can chop down the tree more efficiently. But I think a lot of folks just don't feel like they have time. And therefore, they want to find the shortest possible path, the quickest possible path to getting something done or getting some kind of an outcome, which usually the shortcut is a shortcut for a reason. It's less effective.
That's very interesting because I agree with you. And I also see another entirely different problem that leads us down this path, which is the immediate and sort of incessant undervaluing of what your time is worth. Because what I was watching people do is choose to do a task that even if they didn't go down the path of automation, somebody could be paid $12 an hour. And that would be paying them well, quite frankly, to do the job that we're talking about. And that thinking is dangerous in so many ways, right? Not just because you're going to spend time doing things that you shouldn't be doing, also because you're not going to charge what you're worth, also, because. For so many reasons, it's problematic. And, if you remember supermodels in the 80s, right? I think it was Linda Evangelista said, I won't get out of bed for less than $10,000. We all need to have a number, right? The number where we can say, I will not do that job, at least for any length of time, if what I'm doing is not worth X per hour, per week, per month. And it is so easy to fall into this trap, right? That I'm going to do the $15 an hour job because of this false sense that you're saving money and not recognizing the opportunity cost, which is so incredibly significant. Because if you're listening to this podcast, you are out there in the world charging multiple hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars per hour. You're not charging per hour. That's a whole other conversation. But, if you break it down, that's what you are worth. That is what the solutions you bring to the world require in terms of payment. And it is, farcical in a lot of ways that then you'll turn around and do those little nitpicky things that, quite frankly, are not worth your time.
Anything technical, anything that is repeatable, monotonous, low value, anything that can be automated, anything that can be inexpensively delegated, absolutely should be. And I think let's talk a little bit more about why. And I think we can probably help people come up with their number too, in a very crass way, which I love to do, right? Yeah, just to step on why this is so important. If you're that person, and this is, I think, a bit of I don't know, I hope an extreme example. I hope this is not super common, but then again, what do I know? But if you are doing things in your business that you just should not be doing for mainly for scarcity purposes, right? Like you don't want to spend the money, so you're doing things that you shouldn't be doing because you don't want to spend the money. And they're relatively inexpensive things, and we'll talk about what inexpensive means in a second. Here's one of the many problems with that, and there are many problems with that. One of the many problems with that, to bring this home, is when you get in front of a client and you go, yeah, it's going to be $100,000, and they go, well, that's too expensive. You're going to agree. Because you don't fundamentally believe, and to your point about hourly or not hourly, let's just impute, like, whether you're charging hourly or not, we don't recommend or suggest you charge hourly, right? But if you're listening to this, I don't know what you're doing, right? And so let's assume that you're either charging hourly or that you've imputed some kind of an hourly rate. And let's say on that $100,000 project, your effective hourly rate is $200 an hour. If you're going to be able to put something in front of a client that effectively has you earning $200 an hour, and if you want to do that with integrity, and you want to show up in that conversation and convey to the client that your work is worth $200 an hour, and you have the audacity to be doing $10 an hour tasks in your business, they will see right through you. They will challenge you on the price. They will challenge you on its worth. They will tell you they can find it somewhere else for cheaper. They will ask you why you're charging a premium, and you will crumble. You will crumble right in front of them because you know that you don't have a leg to stand on because you don't value your time. And why should they?
So let's calculate the number.
I mean, the very crude way to do this is, take out a calculator, right? And let's say you want to make $250,000 a year. Just making that number up. Use your number. Let's say your revenue goal is $250,000. Okay. How many hours in the year, Carrie? Workable hours?
I don't know. Let me get my calculator out.
40 times 52. It's about 2,000. Yeah.
Yeah, let's get you some
hours.
vacation, but sure.
Yeah, this is very crass, right?
Yeah.
So just work out $250,000 divided by 2,000 hours. Now that assumes that all of your time is billable, which it should not be, right? But again, this is a crass calculation. I come up with $125 an hour. Okay. Now, actually, your effective hourly rate, if you want to earn $250,000 a year, should be more than $125 because you should not be working 40 hours a week for clients, right? And that's a whole other conversation, probably one that we've had, right? Like if you're a solo, and these numbers change if you're a firm or a principal and you have a team, and that's a more complicated conversation. But still, the rough calculations still something to consider. But if you're a solo, let's say you want to be working 20 to 30 hours on billable client projects, let's say 30, and then you keep 10 hours a week for marketing and sales and business development, then your actual, effective hourly rate ought to be higher than 125. It should be probably in the range of 150, 175. But let's just use 125 as an example. If that's what you want to earn, what you are saying, whether or not you truly believe it, which is kind of the question here, right? What you are saying is every hour of my time is worth at least $125. And I'm going to want to be really clear about this. Your ability to earn, in this example, $250,000 a year rests on your degree of belief that an hour of your time is worth at least $125 an hour. And if you don't really believe that, you're not really going to earn the revenue. And a telltale sign that you don't really believe that is that you're doing things that can be done for less than $125 an hour.
And by people who can do it better than you can.
Yeah, we think that just because it's a simple task, we can do it more. We can do it, effectively or efficiently. But there's always somebody that's going to be better at that thing than you, and probably more inexpensive, right? And I think there's a practical consideration to be had here, right? So, what I'm not saying is if you have no money in the bank, right, and you've got to, I'm trying to think of an example. You've got to do some kind of a task that's maybe $50, $60 an hour in terms of what it's worth. And you want to be charging 125 at least and making 250, but you've got nothing going on. You've got no clients. You've got no money in the bank. What I'm not suggesting is you take out a line of credit or put it on a credit card. Then roll up your sleeves and get it done, right? This is more for the folks that, you have clients, you have revenue, or you're very close to generating the kind of revenue you're looking for. You're engaging in the activities that are revenue producing. For you, especially when you know how to generate revenue. Like those are high value tasks. The two highest value tasks in your business are the things that make money, that's serving clients, right? And the things that make money, that is winning clients. It's the things that make money. That's the thread. That's winning and serving clients. So once you know, and this is true for people that are in our program, but maybe not for everybody. Once you know what it takes to win a client, what does that work require? What do you have to do to win deals? That needs to become your main focus in addition to serving clients. But there are parts within that, to your point, Carrie, that you don't need to be doing personally because they're not high value in that process. and they can be automated or delegated. So you can focus more of your time on the higher value tasks that make money.